What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Bedivere, and today we're going to be diving back into an episode of Zero to Hero. In today's episode of Zero to Hero, we're going to be going back into our Factorio playthrough. As always, if you enjoy the content, be sure to smash that like button, click the subscribe button as well if you haven't already, and that little notification bell down there at the bottom keeps you up to date with all new content that comes to the channel. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, be sure to leave your comments down in the comments down below, and I will be sure to comment right back to you when I can. I stream every Thursday and Sunday afternoon over at twitch.tv/Bedivere. All the links to all my socials, including Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, in the description down below. All right, so let's dive back into this this playthrough. In the last episode, we went a little bit differently. I went to my stream playthrough to kind of go over how our factory is going to be running. For example, I went over the neural network and how basically everything is going to be going through supply and demand and requesting train counts for each product through the wires that are going to be running through our highways. And I'll reference that as the neural network of our base. So if you haven't seen that, be sure to go click in the top right hand corner of your screen right now to follow along. Just kind of give yourself a primer of what we're going to be going through, just so that you kind of know the idea. But we're going to be diving more so into it in this episode. So what we did, I think it was 2 episodes ago, what we did was we set up our train fueling array here. This is going to be the start of our nuclear fuel, and this is going to go to all of our depots and refuel all the trains that we're going to have in our factory. So it's good to have this set up first. Now is probably then a good time to add one of the biggest depots that we're going to have, and I call it my resource train depots. And my depot, singular. So my resource train depot is the depot for the trains that are going to be picking up all of our natural resources, right? So we got our iron ore, our copper ore, stone ore, iron, copper, stone, coal, as well as oil, right? I'm pretty sure that's the 5, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. Okay. I'm not going to be doing water or anything like that, but yeah. So iron ore, copper ore, stone, coal, and oil, right? And this is what it looks like. I have a blueprint here, and I know I said I'd be hand building everything, but when it comes to MEGABASE builds, there's a lot of finicky, like, working out tweaks, updating up blueprints and all that. And I'm gonna use blueprints, I'm gonna tweak them, and then obviously I'm gonna talk them through every single time that I do use one, so that you can build it for yourself and follow along. So we have what's called here a resource train depot, and you can see that it's pretty big, right? The middle, that middle lane, or that middle thing, is where the trains are gonna come in, and then they output on either end. How do I want to do this? So I've already kind of spaced it out to where this is going to be one of the outputs, but I'm going to go out here and just kind of give us some room. And this was a good kind of space for it, because it's pretty long and narrow and pretty empty. And there's not going to be too much high traffic in like uranium processing, as well as the fuel train. Since we're using nuclear fuel, it's not going to be, going constant back and forth, so there's not going to be much high traffic in this sense. So it's a good starting point for a depot. What I'm going to do actually though is I'm going to delete these poles real quick. I'm going to whitelist the big poles as well as the radar. I don't want to delete the trees yet. I don't want to fill up my inventory with wood just yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete that. I think it'll cut off the power to our, yeah, it cuts off that power, but I mean, we don't really need that anyways. So I'm just going to be deleting the power poles here. And then that way we can set up the spacing of the blueprint, right? You're going to hear me reference, spacing a lot. So let's go ahead. I'm going to deactivate my bots because I don't want to place it down just yet, and you'll see why. Let's go ahead go out here. Yeah, just something like that. And obviously it goes over the lake. That's completely fine. I want to find out a full train's length, like where that starts, right? If we go here, okay. So if we go here, it's tough to work backwards, but I think that's the spot here. Maybe one more back. Yeah, that works. Okay, so let's place this down. Let's delete this. And also delete the blueprint. I don't want to control V because then it'll cancel the it'll cancel that, what was it, that chain signal. That's what I was wanting to say. It'll cancel that chain signal that I placed down, and I don't want that. I don't want to cancel that marker. And yes, I know I'm marking all of these trees for deletion, but whatever. It's fine. I can always shift, right? Or there we go, shift. You shift drag, and then you cancel all your deletion on our way back down. There we go. Okay, so let's reactivate our bots to delete this little portion. Then deactivate them again. Bring our blueprint out. Resource train depot. I'm gonna need to go and map and line it up. Okay, so it's just off by 1. But that's fine. Perfect. And that. Yeah, that's a full belt. Okay, or a full train, I should say. Awesome. Okay, now we need to copy down. Oh, what I need to do is actually, I forgot to paste down some of the neural network stuff. So I'm gonna go through, use the blueprint that I have in map mode, and just essentially copy and paste everything, or not copy and paste everything, but just paste down the blueprint that I have, to make sure that this red and green wire just follows it all the way up. And that looks good. That looks good. Okay. And you can see also in map mode, we did some land grabbing, right? So we went all the way up here. There's no wall here yet. I think I might grab a little bit more land. And I'm using the rails to kind of, you know, hug the water where I can, and also just give me enough space to place down some big builds. And we went really far. So we land grab a decent amount. We got our wall stations up that are automatically building all of these wall stations, and we got plenty of space to work with now. And I had this old frontier station that I need to chop down, and then just use this highway to go down that way. All right, I digress. So let's see. Let's use. I'm gonna want the lights too. Why not? Okay, let's do that. Let's get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of that. All right, let's start up with our bots. And then we're gonna finish out this wire as soon as it's built. And there's a lot of wires, there's a lot of mess. Don't worry, stick with me. I will explain everything. And when I explain it, you'll see exactly why, you know, it works, and it's fairly simple in theory. It's just the execution's a little bit complicated. And if you have been following my streams, you know pretty much exactly what I'm talking about, because I do go over it and explain it for anyone that's new. So if you, like I said, if you are new to the channel, new to the community, go ahead, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, especially Twitch. Like I said, I stream every Thursday and Sunday. And you can follow, not necessarily this playthrough, I'll definitely reference it, but I have my stream playthrough that is a lot more, not advanced, but further along than this one that we have right here. Because this one I like to take a little bit more time, explain it a little bit more. But the other one also we have like biter expansion on. We got a bunch more biters to deal with. So if you like a sense of difficulty in Factorio, that's probably a great place to come check it out and hang out. But we're gonna let our bots continue to build here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this to trees and rocks. I'm gonna delete the trees that are actually in our way. I'm gonna use map mode here and just kind of go all the way down. Perfect. And you'll see it's a pretty beefy depot. But once I explain kind of how it operates, how it works, and you see here, we've already run out. So I'm gonna double this. Okay, so we're gonna go back. What I'm gonna do, since this might be a little bit tedious for you to watch, I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of landfill this part of the lake out. I'm gonna continue building this out, connect it to the highway, and then I'll walk through exactly how this whole thing operates and how it'll connect to our system. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I went ahead and finished constructing basically everything that's coming in here. All we need to do is set, whoops, sorry for the save, is set our input lane, or inbound lane, I guess. Let's go ahead and do that. And we're gonna hopefully have enough room to come in from either end. We will not. Let's see. Let's try this and that. Okay, that works. This signal will need to be moved up here. And then we'll just basically chain everything. Coming down. Perfect. Awesome. All right. Then we'll add a regular signal there. Is that all we need here? Yes, I think so. Okay, now let's go back to that input over here. And we're going to want this train to be able to go on the other side as well. So let's go ahead and add that. Whoa, okay. That got close. There we go. I'm also checking my map every time I cross. Move that back. Awesome. Okay, so we got our output. We got our middle lane. Let's see here. Let's see if we can work with this output here. I would like to cross like so. In this, since this is temporary, I'll just leave it like this for now. I'm gonna want all of these to go on either lane. So let's go even further here so that we got a choice to go in the left lane or the right lane. Thank you, train, for not killing me. And then we'll add that choice to go into the left lane or the right lane once we move that temporary copper ore smelting. That'll be in the next episode. So stay tuned. In the next episode, we're going to be doing our copper ore. Just because I'd like to get the MEGABASE copper ore consuming as much of this as possible. I went ahead, added a bunch of speed beacons around to try and, you know, eat up all the 6.4 million ore. Because this is like, it's blocking a lot of room back here. So I want this lane to open up so we can put something here. Okay, so then the output can go on either end. Same thing here. There we go. We'll do the rail signals at the end and then chain signals on each intersection going into it. Delete this, chain in between, and then add the rail signals at the end. Awesome. Okay, now now it's time to start naming all of these as well as explaining what the hell is going on. So just give me 1 second. Let me name this this is going to be demanding fuel, right? Looks like we got a little bit of this belt that still needs to be done. There we go. Okay, so we'll go down, we'll name all of our stations for our iron ore. Let me just name all that real quick. So this is going to be depot ore iron. Perfect. And let me copy and paste all of that down, except for the last one, this one. Okay, cool. All right. So essentially, going off of what we talked about in the last episode, our whole factory is going to be having supply and demand, right? So when we have iron mines, this is going to be like a supply station. When we have copper mines, this is going to be a supply station. And then something like copper smelting, right? When we're putting the copper ore into the input for the copper smelting, this will be the supply, and then the input for the smelting on the copper ore side will be the demand, right? Then on the flip side, when we get the copper plate at copper smelting will be the supply, and then something like green circuits will be demanding copper plate, right? So that's what our whole factory is going to be running off of. Supply and demand of train loads of product, right? So if we have, you know, a bunch of copper ore here, one full train load will be like 1 unit of supply, right? So if we go actually over here, this might be a smart thing to visualize. We'll go down to our copper ore just so that you guys can visualize what exactly I mean by train loads, and we'll use wires, and we got to wire this stuff up anyhow anyway, so might as well show it to you now on how exactly it's gonna work. Okay, so we're on our way, and plus, like, yeah, we can go ahead and delete some of the miners that we got and recoup some speed modules. We have been stockpiling a lot of speed modules because speed modules are the basis of mega bases. All right. So how I like my colors to operate, I like having my red wire carrying all the demand I need in my factory and the green wire carrying all the supply. So since this is going to be a supply station, I'm going to wire all of these chests up with green wire. I'm going to wire up all the chests and then go up to a power pole, and you see up here, you see a green 14,000 units of copper ore, right? So what we want to do is actually wire up all the chests that we have, and then actually wire up the poles themselves. It's a little tough, and then we can go ahead and copy this. The great thing about Factorio is that it gives you wires for free if you are copying and pasting blueprints. So if we take our green wire up this power pole, you see now we have 28,000. That's not right. That's not right. I'm missing wires. Oh, no, I'm not. 2.4, 2.4, 2.4. What's 2.4 times 6? 12 point something. So the whole train. Okay, let me just double check something. There we go. That wasn't. I just want to make sure all of these are connected. There you go. That wasn't connected. That wasn't connected. This was connected. This is not connected. There you go. All right, so that's better. That's better. Let me just also now copy. Okay, it looks like all the wires are connected. Let me actually just rotate this so I can see it better. I just want to make sure. Yep. Connected, 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 connected. Awesome. Awesome. It's all connected. Except for the back, which back doesn't really matter. Okay, so sorry for the delay. So now if we go here, we're showing a full, 115,000, a lot of copper ore, right? So how do we know how many train loads that is? Well, we want to go to our arithmetic combinator here, and then we want to go in and our input to we can put the input to this. So you see our input signals is the 115K, and that's going in on the green wire. So what we can do with that 115K is we can take the copper ore, right? That's going to take the 115K, the copper ore signal, divide that, and we can find out how much ore all the trains can hold. So how we can do that is we can go just to like a random calculator or something. We can look at a chest, right? A chest has a stack size of, this is 48, right? So if you do 48 times a stack size of 50, that's oh, no, sorry. We don't want to do 48. We want to look at a wagon. A wagon has 4 rows, so that's 40, right? So a wagon has 40 slots times a stack size of 50, and then we're going to have 8 wagons, so times 8. And that comes out to be 16,000, right? If you look here, once this, and just to kind of confirm, once this train gets full, if you look down here, it'll say cargo contents. It should say 16,000. And then leave. Boom, 16,000 and leaves, okay? So we want to divide our input by 16,000, set, and then output that as the copper ore signal, right? So then you see the output signal, there's 6 full train loads, right? And now once everything gets fully replenished, because 1 train came in, the maximum that it can hold is going to be 7, right? So what we want to do is we want to add this supply to our base. And I kind of don't like that I did it at the bottom here. I would have preferred it up here. Oh, and we don't have the wires. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we added all of the wires that we needed. Now let's go here and we'll extend, or we'll bring down essentially our neural network down to where our station is at. You see here, oh, this is from the depot, and you'll see why it's negative in just a second. Perfect. You know what? Not too aesthetically pleasing. Let's have this be right here. That'll help. That'll help a lot. All right, so we have our neural network here. So what we want to do is we want to put this green wire to our neural network. So what we want to do is we want to take the output and add those 7 train loads to the neural network. And you'll see originally we're at -18 and -18. Now the green signal for copper ore is -11, right? Don't worry about the -11s right now. But what we did is we added 7 copper trains full to the neural network. Now, what we also want to do is, since this is going to be named like ore copper, we're going to have all of our ore places named the exact same thing, because our train schedules are just going to have 3 stops: depot, supply, demand. That's just going to be the 3 stops for every single one of our trains. So what we want to do is, if this cannot receive, or if this cannot supply anything, we want to turn it off, right? So if this only has like 1 or 0, supply, or once it hits 0, we don't want any more trains coming here. We want them going to our other stops. So what we want to do is we want to switch the color real quick. Switch the color to have the output of 7, or the output of this thing, be going to here, and we want to enable, disable. We want to make sure the copper It will enable the train when the amount of copper trains that can come fill, or when the amount of copper that we have is greater than 0, right? Or that's not the best way to explain it. This number of copper is going to be how many train loads that we have available at this supply station. If the number of train loads is going to be 0, we don't want anyone to come. So if it's 1 or greater, that means that there's a train load available. So we want to enable it when that's the case, right? Sorry for messing up the first part of the explanation. So what we want to do is we want to go back to our main base. We're going to pick up a lot of trains, okay? Let's get rid of all the rails. Let's take 20 trains, maybe? Or like 40. This we can do like 200, whatever. I don't think we'll be able to fit all that, obviously. But if we take out some of this stuff, we might. So it looks like this is still going to be producing. What's our limit here on the train amounts? 40? No, let's up that to 80. Let's up that to 80. And then what's our limit here on the trains? 10. Let's up that to 20. There we go. Okay, so let's hop back in. Hopefully we can, add some trains. And we will go here. And now I can explain exactly how this depot is going to work, right? So we went over essentially what the wires are going to represent, green and red, on supply and demand stations, right? So essentially what our depots are going to be doing is they're going to be holding all of our resource trains until supply and demand, meet and have, if we have supply of 1 copper ore train and our base is demanding 1 copper ore train, we want to be sending 1 train to go fulfill that quote unquote order, right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a train. Let's just add it real quick. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now. Okay. So what we have here is we have all of our... Oh, I didn't connect the wires. Sorry. Wires connected. Awesome. That's good. Okay, so now we see like all the iron stuff, right? So the depot will hold the train, will refill it until supply and demand are equal, or not equal, but can be fulfilled, right? And there's multiple checks. So the reason why these are negative is because we count how many trains have left the depot in order to keep track of how many quote unquote orders of supply and demand have been or currently are being fulfilled. So what this system does is it takes the red and green wire from our neural network, and it checks if iron ore is greater than or equal to 1, it'll output 1 green signal. And this is only the green wire. See how the red and green are separated? So this decider combinator checks supply. See if we have at least 1 supply. This decider combinator that's only on the red wire checks if if demand is greater than or equal to 1. Demand of iron ore is greater than or equal to 1. It'll output a green signal, right? So if we have 2 green signals, it means that 1, we got supply, and 2, we got demand. And that'll send to the train. Now, what we can do here with the train schedule is if we go to depot or iron, we can set a circuit condition, and it'll wait here until a certain circuit condition is met. So we can go to signals, green signal, equal to 3. Okay, and you'll see why it's 3 and not 2 in just a second. So if we set this to automatic, it'll wait here until this circuit condition is fulfilled. Then it'll go to, I don't think we have any iron ore stations just yet, but it'll go to first supply of iron ore and then the demand of iron ore, and then come back to the depot and wait until the three conditions are met again, right? So what the three conditions are, we already went over supply, we already went over demand. The third condition is I want these lanes to go out first. There's room for 3 trains, right? So I want this first lane to go out first and this second lane to wait until all of these trains are being used to then go out, right? So what I have is I have a little condition on this end that looks at this red wire going all the way along, right? If you look at the red wire that's going all the way along here, at intervals, it's reading one of the signals, right? So if we look at the red wire that's on these big power poles, you have 2 green and 1 red. A red signal means that there's a train there. 2 greens mean that there's 2 trains that are missing, right? There's 3 trains total that can be here. This is one of the intervals here. This is the other interval here, right? So this red wire just counts how many trains are in each, or is in this given lane, right? So we have 1 train that's here, shown by the red signal, and 2 spots that are vacant, shown by the green signal, right? Then what this thing does here is it takes in that red signal and takes in the green signal, meaning the green signal is showing how many trains have left and have gone. So if, say, we have supply and demand of iron ore in the neural network of 5, right? And 2 trains are gone. That means 2 trains are fulfilling an order, right? So we don't want to send another 5 trains out when 2 are already out to satisfy a supply and demand of 5, right? Because then that'll be 7 trains supplying or doing an order for 5 when 5 are needed, right? So what we do and what we control is once a train leaves, we actually subtract supply and demand from our neural network. That way we don't overuse trains and we only have out the exact amount of trains that we need. So once we have a vacancy, we multiply that by -1 and we output by iron ore. And if you look here, our output is both green and red. Even though our input is 1, our output is going to be transferred on both the green wire and the red wire. So that's going to be going back out and that's going to be stopping it, right? Now, you see how this red wire splits? It goes into this pole and then this decider combinator, or arithmetic combinator, sorry. It also continues to here, right? And then this one reads how many trains have left, right? So if we look at the condition here, if there's 0 red signals, it means that there are no trains left. So it'll output the 3rd and final green signal to let the trains from this lane go. So this first lane here will be completely empty first before the first train here can go. You see that? So that's essentially like how all of this works. And once we have the trains filled, it'll be a lot easier to see what we have in terms of supply and demand. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the time here to fill all of the trains. That way you see everything going on. And I'll also, actually, no, before we do that, I'm going to show you something real quick. So we have demand fuel, we have supply fuel. What this train is going to do is just going to go back and forth. So let's go demand fuel. And we want empty cargo. Yeah, empty cargo. So yeah, let's actually go to our fuel station really quick. Where is our train? Oh, there you are. Nice. Oh, I should also add another slipstream here so that it doesn't have to go around. So what this thing is doing is it's dropping off a bunch of nuclear fuel and then going back to resupply. Now, what we can do here is we only are enabling this station when the amount of fuel here is going to be 45. So it's going to keep on coming back until it backs up. But it's going to be filling up all of our trains with nuclear fuel, and it's going to be fantastic. So it's already coming down here, right? Yeah, it's already coming down here, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. So it's gonna keep working. And now, so what I'll do now is I'll refill, or not refill, but I'll place all of the trains down, make sure that they're all assigned to the depots, and then I'll finalize exactly how this, not exactly how it works, but I'll finalize what's going on to stamp the idea home. Oh, really quick, I wanted to add something as I'm adding all of these trains. You want to make sure that your stations here have a train limit of 3, because there is a little bit of a bug where sometimes it'll send 4 trains to the same station, even though there's like 3 already there, and then the 4th one will just wait here. So make sure that you have only 3 trains going to each station. That way, if it's blue like this, meaning that it's full, it'll go to a different one. So just make sure you do that. All right, I'll be back again. All right, so that is our last train that we put into our depot. Oh, real quick, I forgot to make sure that these last depots had, let's see here, had the train limit of 3. Let's make sure we do that. Copy and paste that. Was our stone taken care of? No, the stone was not. Okay, so 3. Boom. That one's taken care of. Now let's go to our oil. Add the train limit there. And then the last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna see our network in action here. Let's go ahead. Let's look at our neural network right now, just to see what, having trains in the depot look like. And you see the only thing that's left is the 7 supply of copper ore that we did earlier in the episode. That's coming here. Now, a train will not leave unless there's both supply and demand. So let's go ahead, go over here, and add some demand. So we're going to do that on red wire. I went ahead and brought this train that was usually going here and, brought it back here. I think there's still some ore in it. Maybe not. No, there isn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire all this stuff up. And then let me actually... let me copy and paste that. All right, so we're gonna use now a decider combinator, or not decider, no, arithmetic. Boom. Arithmetic combinator, and for demand it works a little bit differently, right? So what we need to do is we need to bring this. We need 2 of them. So we need to bring this into the input, output into the input, and then the outputs for that's gonna go somewhere else. Okay, so for demand stations, we need to basically calculate how many trains we still need to fill the chest, right? So how we do that is our input here is going to be the maximum amount of ore that we could hold in the chest, subtracted by the amount of ore that we already have, and then divide that number by the train size, right? So each chest has, let's go over here. Each chest has, like we see here, 48 grids. And then we'll multiply that by the stack size of ore, which is 50. And then we'll also multiply that by 6 because there's 6 chests per wagon. and then multiply that by 8, which is 8 wagons per train. And this is the maximum we can hold at a station, which is 115,200. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the number 115,200, and we're gonna subtract the ore input that we're getting, which is gonna be the coal, or not the coal, the copper, and we're gonna output that number, right? So it's gonna be the max number minus what we have in there is what we still need. Now, that output is gonna go into the input of this one. So then that input, which is the copper ore, which is what we still need, divide by the train size of 16,000 units per train, and we're gonna output that as a number. And you see that output as 7. So we need 7 train fulls in order to fill up this station. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our neural network here. Can we fit it? We cannot. So let's go ahead and do something like this. We'll add the neural network into here, like so. Okay. Now that demand, or let's wait on the demand. First, we'll do the green wire to the station and disable the copper to the once there's a demand for a copper train, enable it. And then we're gonna put the red wire onto our neural network, and you'll see here, boom, 7 and 7. Now let's go. Oh, I didn't set my trains. I was like, oh, I was gonna show you the train, but now we got supply and demand. So the next thing to do is to set up our trains and how they're gonna work, right? So we're gonna go all the way at the other end, and we might have to copy and paste and activate all the trains. Yeah, we will, but we can do that. We can do that after, right? Okay, so this train here is first going to go to supply. Do I have a supply? No, it's ore copper. My bad. No. Come back. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna switch it off to manual. Boom. We're gonna go to ore, copper, full cargo, and then you're gonna go to demand. Where's demand? Oh, I didn't change the station name. Whoops. We're gonna go to demand, ore, copper. And actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this to supply or copper. Okay. Because it's alphabetical, it's nice to kind of break them up so that everything is grouped together. So what we're gonna do, yeah, supply or copper. It's nice that it changes it in here. Supply or copper to demand or copper until you have empty cargo. All right. Now start at the depot, and it might switch it like right away. Start at the depot. Yeah, see? And then it let it go right away because we have supply and demand. Now that a train has gone and we have a green signal here, it reads that one green signal, multiplies it by -1 and subtracts that from the supply and demand neural network because we already have a train going there, right? And what we're gonna do is we're just essentially, oh, let's go to the map actually. Where is the map? Oh, he's already there. I love nuclear fuel. We're gonna copy that. We're gonna paste it. Boom, already gone. Already gone. Next, we're gonna do this, copy again. Boom, or paste again. So now we got 3 trains out, and now our supply has gone down. The demand is like, now it's not super even, but like that's essentially what's going on. That's fantastic. Well, that looks like that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much again for joining me and clicking on that thumbnail. As always, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to smash that like button, click the subscribe button as well if you haven't already, and that little notification bell down there at the bottom keeps you up to date with all new content that comes to the channel. If you have any questions on this topic, I know it's very, very complicated. or at least looks that way at the very beginning. If you have any questions, comments, you want me to explain further in depth on how it actually works, be sure to leave your comment down in the comments down below. Or better yet, go ahead and follow me and join me on Twitch. I stream every Thursday and Sunday afternoon over at twitch.tv/Betabear. You can find the link in the description, as well as my other socials like Twitch and Instagram. All right, y'all, that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Peace.